The Tenth Doctor is an incarnation of the Doctor, the protagonist of the BBC science fiction television programme Doctor Who. He is played by Scottish actor David Tennant in 3 series as well as 9 specials. As with previous incarnations of the Doctor, the character has also appeared in other Doctor Who spin-offs. In the programme's narrative, the Doctor is a centuries-old Time Lord alien from the planet Gallifrey who travels in time in his TARDIS, frequently with companions. When the Doctor is critically injured beyond medical repair, he can regenerate his body. In doing so, his physical appearance and personality change, and a new actor assumes the role. This incarnation's companions include working-class shop assistant Rose Tyler, medical student Martha Jones, and fiery temp worker Donna Noble. He eventually parts ways with them all by the end of the 2008 series finale, Journey's End, after which he attempts to travel alone for the duration of the 2008 Euro 10 specials before being accompanied by Donna Noble's grandfather, Wilfred Mott, on his final adventure in the End of Time. In November 2013, as part of Doctor Who's 50th anniversary celebrations, Tennant's Doctor was voted the UK's favourite Doctor in a survey held by the Radio Times magazine. Overview: Executive producer Russell T Davies revived Doctor Who after a 16-year absence with the successful premiere of Rose in 2005. Following the BBC's announcement of a second series being commissioned, the story broke that Christopher Eccleston, who played the titular Ninth Doctor, would not be returning for the second series. On April 16, 2005, the BBC announced that David Tennant had been selected for the role of the 10th Doctor. His first appearance in the series was for 20 seconds following the Ninth Doctor's regeneration at the end of The Parting of the Ways. His first full episode as the Doctor, barring an appearance in a mini-episode during the 2005 Children in Need show, was the 2005 Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion. He then appeared in the 2006 series, the second Christmas special, the 2007 series, the third Christmas special, and the 2008 series. Rather than a traditional series run, 2009 features a series of 5 specials and a series of animated shorts, all starring Tennant as the 10th Doctor. He also guest-starred in a 2-episode serial of the Sarah Jane Adventures spin-off in that year. Tennant also appears in 2 animated serials. The Infinite Quest is counted with the 3rd series, and Dreamland is counted amongst the 2008 Euro 10 specials. In 2013, Tennant reprised his role as the Doctor for the 50th anniversary special The Day of the Doctor, whereas it revealed that due to an uncounted past incarnation, the 10th Doctor is in fact the 11th incarnation of the Doctor. The next episode, The Time of the Doctor, further explains that because the 10th Doctor underwent an aborted regeneration in Journey's End, the 11th Doctor was in fact on his 13th and final life. Personality: the 10th Doctor generally displays a light-hearted, talkative, easy-going, witty, and cheeky manner, but nurses profound anger, regret, and vulnerability beneath his more glib exterior. In School Reunion, he acknowledges that he is less merciful than he used to be and has stuck to his one warning code, always giving quarter but punishing his enemies if they persist in their hostilities. He is quick to anger at the perception of injustice. When Prime Minister Harriet Jones destroys the retreating Sycorax ship against his wishes, he ruins her political career in retribution. In the waters of Mars, he goes so far as to declare himself above the laws of time, although there are catastrophic consequences as a result. In his more level-headed moments, though, the Doctor feels profound regret for the many deaths he's had a hand in. In Journey's End, he has a flashback of those who have died instead of for him, including Astrid Pith, Jenny, Luke Rattigan, Linda Moss, and the hostess from Midnight. He often shows mercy even to his most irredeemable foes, offering Davros the chance to escape the destruction of the Dalek mothership and insisting on giving a Sontaran general the chance to escape with his life even though he knows a Sontaran would never retreat. The 10th Doctor's declaration that he is so sorry for what he must do is a leitmotif throughout the series. In The Doctor's Daughter he explains to his daughter Jenny how killing infects you, and once it does you'll never get rid of it. Loneliness is the 10th Doctor's most persistent personal demon, His relationship with various companions is always short-lived and often ends in tragedy. The survivor's guilt of his previous incarnation now takes the form of extreme isolation and a sense of melancholy at being the last of his kind. Even the apparent death of his archenemy the Master engenders grief, and in fact the Master elects to die rather than save his own life by regenerating simply to spite the Doctor. In School Reunion, he says that the long lifespan of the Time Lords is a curse, because while his human companions someday leave him and eventually die, he continues to live. While they may spend the rest of their lives with him, he is unable to do so in turn. In the end of time, he ultimately ends up regenerating in the TARDIS alone, despite visits to all of his past companions as he tries to stave off the inevitable regeneration for as long as possible. The 10th Doctor has a tendency to babble, mixing apparent nonsense with vital information, sometimes acting erratically to put his enemies off guard. In The Christmas Invasion, and Tooth and Claw, he is surprised at his own unintentional rudeness when making disparaging remarks, and Jack Harkness, after reuniting with the Doctor, notes that his new regeneration kinda cheeky. He has a tendency to use techno-babble to describe scientific concepts before substituting it with a simpler, analogous explanation, such as his description of non-linear temporal physics as a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff. He changes moods often, from mania to anger to nonchalance, and uses this as a form of reverse psychology. The 10th Doctor is openly fond of mankind and in awe of their tenacity and curiosity, a trait previously exhibited by his fourth incarnation. In The Impossible Planet, he hugs the leader of an Earth expedition for daring to explore a planet orbiting a black hole merely because it was there. In The Age of Steel, he describes human beings as both brilliant and stupid in the same sentence while arguing the necessity of emotions with the cyber controller. Conversely, this makes his expectations rather high and his anger when he feels humanity has let him down quite severe. Indeed, his confidence in the human race becomes far less pronounced in later series, and at the end of Midnight he is left speechless after witnessing the steps humans can become willing to take when placed in a threatening situation, as he is almost killed by a panicky group of people who turn on him. The 10th Doctor stands out for his love of humanity and its popular culture, including television, Harry Potter, and the film The Lion King. More than any previous incarnation, the 10th Doctor serves as a romantic leading man. His relationship with Rose becomes one of obviously mutual but unacknowledged love, and he has several flagrant, whirlwind romances with historical figures like Madame de Pompadour and Queen Elizabeth I. In School Reunion, Sarah Jane Smith all but confesses that she had been in love with him all along. Martha Jones runs off with the Doctor in Series 3 largely because of an obvious attraction to him, but her feelings remain unrequited due to his lingering preoccupation with Rose. On the other hand, he expressly singles out Donna as a new traveling companion precisely because they have no romantic chemistry, although after he is forced to leave Donna on Earth with her memory wiped of all their adventures, he later acknowledges the emotional fallout of this tragedy as a heartbreak. When he is poisoned in The Unicorn and the Wasp, and asks Donna to give him a shock of some kind, kissing him proves to be so out of character for her that it is sufficient to trigger the detox process. Despite his constant heartache, the 10th Doctor's qualities as a romantic lead remain one of his defining characteristics as a consistently well-dressed, traditionally handsome performer, engaging in such pageantry as sword-fighting villains and riding to the rescue on a white horse in classic swashbuckling fashion. The 10th Doctor speaks with an estuary English accent, rather than the Greater Manchester accent that the 9th Doctor used, the received pronunciation of most earlier Doctors, or Tennant's natural Scottish English. David Tennant told SFX magazine in 2006 that Russell T Davies had asked him to drop his natural Scottish accent, because he felt we'd like to not go for another obvious regional accent, because I suppose they'd done that. In a December 23 interview on BBC Radio 1, Tennant explained that a line had been scripted for the Christmas special explaining that the newly regenerated Doctor had imprinted on Rose Tyler's accent, like a chick hatching from an egg, but the line was cut from the final episode. The 10th Doctor uses an American Appalachian accent in The Christmas Invasion, and a Highland Scottish accent in Tooth and Claw. Much as the 9th Doctor frequently declared things fantastic. This Doctor has also favored certain phrases on various occasions, such as brilliant. Oh yes. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and the French command Alan's why is his exclamation. He often clarifies his own mistakes by beginning with an elongated well. Both Tennant and his character express particular affection for Peter Davison's Fifth Doctor character and imitated much of Davison's style. The pair co-starred in the 2007 Children in Need special, Time Crash, where their respective incarnations reflect on the commonalities of their mode and adventures. The 10th admits to the 5th that he was the 10th favorite past incarnation. The depictions of the personalities of the 10th and 11th Doctors shared certain similarities, for example both being youthful, energetic, friendly, childlike, good boyfriend Doctors, as Stephen Moffat described them and, according to Mark Gatiss, very human Doctors, when compared to other incarnations. Appearance: the Doctor complains that his 10th incarnation is not ginger. He wears his own brown hair in various ways throughout the series, unstyled in The Christmas Invasion, a 1950s-style quiff in The Idiot's Lantern, and flattened forwards in The Runaway Bride. He has dark brown eyes and is perceived by most, including companions and other characters, as slim and a little bit foxy. His costume was unveiled on July 27, 2005. He generally wears either a dark brown or a blue four-button suit, a shirt and a tie, a light brown faux suede overcoat, and different colored pairs of Converse All-Stars shoes, depending on his suit. According to an interview on Parkinson, David Tennant and Russell T. Davies got the idea for the 10th Doctor's costume from an outfit Jamie Oliver had worn on Parkinson just after Tennant had taken the role. David Tennant has commented that he would vary the combination of the buttons he fastened on his jacket in different episodes. Tennant thought the look was very geek chic. The Doctor dons a pair of dark tortoiseshell rectangular frame glasses, an affectation borrowed from the Fifth Doctor. He also occasionally sports a pair of red cyan 3D glasses, both as a joke and for practical reasons. The 10th Doctor's costume became so popular that it has spawned numerous recreations, and has been cited by costume designer Louise Page as the costume she is most proud of from her time on Doctor Who. Appearances: television. The 9th Doctor regenerates into the 10th Doctor at the climax of the 2005 series finale, The Parting of the Ways. He reintroduces himself to his companion Rose Tyler in an Untitled Children in Need mini-episode. In the Christmas special, he is in a comatose state for most of the episode, following his regeneration. After eventually waking up, he defeats the alien Sycorax and saves Earth. In the process, he loses a hand, which regrows owing to his recent regeneration. Amongst other 2006 series adventures, the Doctor and Rose save Queen Victoria from a werewolf, resulting in the creation of the Anti-Alien Torchwood Institute. The Doctor shares an adventure with two former companions, journalists Sarah Jane Smith and robot dog K9, before taking on Rose's boyfriend Mickey as a second companion. The TARDIS slips through a crack in the time vortex, causing them to be stranded on a parallel Earth, where they encounter the Cybermen. After saving parallel Earth, Mickey decides to stay and help stop the Cybermen around the world despite the Doctor telling him he can never return. He and Rose become stranded on a planet orbiting around a black hole where the Beast is waiting, with a Torchwood team. While there, the Beast taunts the Doctor and Rose about Rose's death. The series finale takes place in contemporary London, where modern-day Torchwood is the scene for war between the evil alien Daleks and parallel universe cyborgs the Cybermen. Saving the Earth costs the Doctor Rose, who is stranded in a parallel universe, along with Mickey and her mother, in Doomsday. In the closing scene of Doomsday, a mysterious bride inexplicably appears in his TARDIS. The 2006 Christmas special sees the Doctor and bride-to-be Donna Noble save the Earth. Donna saves the Doctor from going too far in his revenge against the alien Rachnos and declines his offer of companionship. In the 2007 series, the Doctor takes on Martha Jones as his new companion. Together, they witness the mysterious face of Bo prophesy to the Doctor that you are not alone. They are rejoined by former companion Captain Jack Harkness in a 3-episode adventure where presumed deceased archenemy and fellow Time Lord the Master becomes Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and enslaves the Doctor for 1 year. Martha's plan sees the Doctor infused with the world's psychic energies, and he easily defeats the Master, who seemingly refuses to regenerate and dies in the Doctor's arms. Following this adventure, in the dark copyright denouement of series finale Last of the Time Lords, Jack and Martha both depart the TARDIS, and the Doctor is shocked to see what appears to be the RMS Titanic crash into it. Set moments prior, another Children in Need mini-episode, Time Crash, features a brief encounter between Tennant's 10th Doctor and the 5th Doctor, containing meta-humor surrounding Davison's Doctor having been a young David Tennant's favourite. In parallel with a third series, Tennant lends his voice to the animated serial The Infinite Quest. The 2007 Christmas special sees the Doctor and a waitress, Astrid, save the Earth from the impending crash of the starship Titanic. Astrid dies heroically, and the Doctor encounters Wilfred Mott for the first time. In the 2008 series premiere episode, the Doctor is reunited with Donna Noble, Mott's granddaughter, who becomes his regular companion. In Planet of the Ood, the alien Ood prophesy the 10th Doctor's demise. Martha accompanies them for 3 episodes. In 2, the Doctor battles the alien Sontarans, and last of which sees him become a father of sorts to Jenny, in the Doctor's daughter. He meets archaeologist and future companion River Song for the first time from his perspective in the 2-parter Silence in the Library/Forest of the Dead. She dies, but he stores her consciousness to a hard drive to live on forever, after accepting that one day she will come to mean a lot to him. After Donna encounters Rose in an alternate timeline in Turn Left, the Doctor realizes that it must herald the end of the world. In finale episodes The Stolen Earth, and Journey's End, the Doctor and Donna reunite with former companions Rose, Sarah Jane, Martha, Jack, and Mickey to save the universe from Davros, the creator of the Daleks. A half-human Doctor is created from the Doctor's previously severed hand, and Donna is given the mind of a Time Lord. The human Doctor enjoys a happy ending with Rose in the parallel universe, though the Doctor is forced to erase Donna's memories to save her life, leaving him alone. A Doctor Who mini-episode, Music of the Spheres, features a lone Doctor composing his musical ode to the universe before being interrupted by the small alien Grask. In lieu of a 2009 series, Tennant appears as the 10th Doctor, without a regular companion, in several special episodes over the course of 2008 and 2009, the last of which aired on New Year's Day, 2010. In the Christmas special The Next Doctor, the Doctor mistakenly believes he has met a later incarnation of himself in an amnesiac Londoner, with whom he saves Victorian-era London. Planet of the Dead features jewel thief Lady Christina de Souza as the Doctor's one-off companion, and the Doctor is presented with a prophecy of his imminent death. Tennant makes a crossover appearance in the Sarah Jane Adventures 2-parter, The Wedding of Sarah Jane Smith, in which a powerful being known as the Trickster also alludes to the 10th Doctor's impending demise. In The Waters of Mars, the Doctor tries to alter history and avert the death of one-off companion Adelaide Brooke. When she commits suicide, he begins to feel his mortality weigh down upon him. In the animated serial Dreamland, the Doctor is joined by 2 one-off companions in 1950s Roswell, New Mexico. In the 2-part Send-Off The End of Time, the Doctor confronts the Ood about their original prophecy and is led to contemporary Earth where, in the 2nd part, the again resurrected Master restores Gallifrey and the Time Lords to existence, although he redeems himself by assisting the Doctor to defeat Time Lord President Rassilon before disappearing alongside the other Time Lords. The Doctor sacrifices his life to save Wilfred Mott, exposing himself to 500,000 rads of deadly radiation and triggering his regeneration. He holds it back and is shown visiting several companions. He gives Donna a winning lottery ticket on her wedding day, buying it with money he borrowed from her late father in the past, saves Martha and Mickey from a Sontaran sniper, saves Sarah Jane's son Luke from a car, introduces Jack to a romantic interest, and finally, just before regenerating into the 11th Doctor, he informs Rose in 2005 that she is about to have a great year. As he begins regenerating once in the TARDIS, his last words are "I don't want to go." Tennant reprised the role for the show's 50th anniversary in The Day of the Doctor, appearing alongside the 11th Doctor and a forgotten past incarnation, the War Doctor, played by John Hurt. In the special, in which we view scenes from the 10th Doctor's time taking place between the waters of Mars and the end of time, the Doctor unintentionally marries Queen Elizabeth I while luring out his Zygon. He helps the other Doctors in saving Gallifrey at the Time War's conclusion, but will not retain memories of the event. His final words are, "Once again I don't want to go," after being told that he will die on Trenzalore. Spoofs. David Tennant has also made numerous cameo appearances as the Doctor outside of Doctor Who, frequently in spoof appearances. Singer and actress Charlotte Church spoofs Doctor Who alongside an actor playing the 10th Doctor in her own The Charlotte Church Show. In an appearance on the Friday Night Project in 2007, Tennant plays a female companion to the 10th Doctor on the Pink Planet, where they are confronted by the alien Gaylord. When the show became the Sunday Night Project, Catherine Tate appeared in a skit playing the 10th Doctor. Tennant starred opposite Catherine Tate in her own The Catherine Tate Show special as Lauren Cooper's teacher Mr. Logan, who Cooper teases for his resemblance to the Doctor. Eventually, he reveals himself to be the 10th Doctor and shrinks Cooper into a 5 inches Rose Tyler action figure. In the final episode of Extras, a brief scene shows the Doctor and an unidentified Wren companion attacked by Schlong, a slug-like alien played by Andy Millman. The 10th Doctor is also featured in political satire. In a 2007 episode of Dead Ringers, when faced by the question of Gordon Brown's succession, Tony Blair regenerates into David Tennant after promising New Labour is all about renewal, later vowing 100 more years of power. Tennant modifies his first line in The Parting of the Ways, to New Labour, "That's weird," and proceeds to address the public in a Tony Blair impression resembling Culshaw's. Literature. As the face of the Doctor Who franchise for 2005 a Euro10, the 10th Doctor appears extensively in Doctor Who spin-off media. In the majority of these series, the character simply takes after the place of the 9th Doctor, and in turn is replaced by the 11th following the debut of the 2010 series. Novels featuring the 10th Doctor are all published by BBC Books. The character appears in new series adventures novels spanning from The Stone Rose to The Krillitane Storm. A number Decide Your Destiny novels were published between July 2007 and March 2008, as well as 5 books published as a part of Quick Reads Initiative, a government-sponsored adult literacy project. BBC Children's Books released their own 10-part series, The Darksmith Legacy, supported by an interactive tie-in website. Additionally, short stories are frequently published in Doctor Who magazine, the Doctor Who Storybook series, the BBC website, and annuals and such like. One example being the story The Lodger by Gareth Roberts, later adapted into an 11th Doctor television episode of the same name. National newspapers The Daily Telegraph and the Sunday Times have each published one Christmas-themed 10th Doctor short story. Additionally, the 10th Doctor appears in a novelization of his The Sarah Jane Adventures crossover appearance. The 10th Doctor also appears extensively in comic books, replacing the 9th Doctor and those published in Doctor Who magazine, and the younger audience Doctor Who Adventures and Doctor Who, Battles in Time. American comic book publisher initially published a 2008 10th Doctor and Martha Jones miniseries between January and June 2006. This was later followed by a truly ongoing 10th Doctor series in July 2009, set during the 2008 Euro 10 specials and lasting 16 issues before relaunching with the 11th Doctor. In stories set after Journey's End, the Doctor is accompanied by numerous one-off and recurring companions who do not feature in the television series. Outside of Doctor Who literature, penciler George's Gene T includes a cameo of the 10th Doctor and Rose in a panel of Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 8 story arc No Future for You. The 10th Doctor was utilized in the American satirical political cartoon strip, This Modern World. Arriving in 2003, the Doctor hints to Sparky the Wonder Penguin that in 5 years' time, the next president could be a black man, with the middle name Hussein, whose father was a Muslim, referring to the popularity of Senator Barack Obama in the 2008 presidential election. The character also appeared in a story arc of the webcomic PvP, in which character Brent Sienna hallucinates materializing in the TARDIS. Audio drama. As is the case with the BBC books novels, the 10th Doctor replaced the 9th as the face of the Doctor Who audiobook series, beginning with Pest Control in May 2008 and ending with Dead Air in March 2010. The majority are read by David Tennant, save one read by Michelle Ryan and two by Catherine Tate. A number of 10th Doctor novels were also abridged to become audiobooks, again featuring David Tennant's voice alongside other cast members such as Freema Agyeman and television series guest stars such as Georgia Moffat, Reggie Yates and Anthony Head. The last of these scheduled is Judgment of the Judoon, for December 2010. Reception. The 10th Doctor has been very popular amongst the Doctor Who fandom and has received critical acclaim. In 2006, readers of Doctor Who magazine voted Tennant's Doctor Best Doctor over perennial favourite Tom Baker. He also won the National Television Awards Award for Most Popular Actor in 2006 and 2007, and the award for Outstanding Drama Performance in 2008 and 2010. In a poll conducted by Radio Times in March 2007, Tennant's Doctor was named the coolest character on television. IGN ranked the 10th Doctor the best Doctor in 2011. In 2013, IGN again ranked Tennant as the best Doctor, along with the Daily Mail and Radio Times, with Billie Piper also being voted as best companion. Users of PlusNet also voted David Tennant as the best Doctor in 2013. Users of Doctor Who TV also voted Tennant as Ultimate Doctor in 2013. Voters on Digital Spy also rated Tennant as the greatest Doctor in 2013 with 50.05% of the votes. References. Notes: a serial of the Sarah Jane Adventures starring the 11th Doctor called Death of the Doctor clarifies that the Doctor, in fact, made visits to every former companion. External links: 10th Doctor on TARDIS Data Core, an external wiki, The 10th Doctor, Doctor Who, UK, the BBC. Doctor Who Series 2, Wiltshire, BBC.